How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana. We are diving face first into the history of Michel and how where he came from and the struggles he faced growing up. And we've kind of hit the critical mass point where he kissed, Amy, his fiance of the middle brother. And she, she sees Michel as Michel still, female, and as a homosexual, and says it's, disgusting, which is sadly what Giselle also was saying, which is really sad. But then we also discovered, when we overheard that Michel's first crush is ultimately for naught. We also learned that Amy is cheating on the middle brother with the eldest brother, who's supposed to be going as a knight, joining an order, dedicating himself to protection and combat. And I don't know if he can't get married, but obviously to be having relations with your brother's fiance, not so great. So it's the whole thing's about to blow up in our faces, and we know eventually it will. So I think this is the episode where it will eventually, the house of cards will collapse, and we will see Michel being banished to the estate, and unfortunately Michel's mother snapping. So I suppose we have nothing better to do than to just press forward and just hold our heads high and just buckle up. It's actually really ironic. I've had a couple comments talking about how interesting it is and truly how unique it is again that we have a main character of a visual novel who is transgender, considering that this game is not brand new, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to be politically correct. I feel like it's genuinely just trying to explore a very tragic tale, but telling a human story. Whoever wrote this truly understands what makes humans compelling, because it even gives a good example with the false fifth door, where it was the fairy tale version that was a mess, it was not accurate. They pointed out how the human element was gone because the story had been changed so much. But here, it's really interesting to bring a human element to it just briefly. My wife had a family crisis happen. Her mom had a medical problem, and so she actually took some time off of work to go out and just make sure that her family's okay, because she still has two younger siblings who are in school, like middle school, high school age. Turns out that while she's been out there, she learned that one of her younger siblings is actually transgender, is just starting to come out with the truth, and is going through something just like Michel did. Almost very, very, very similar, a biologically female, but transgender. And we've had to have a few talks about it, and I even referenced this game, talking about how it explores and goes through that mindset and the ideas, and kind of helps people like me who have never gone through that conceptualize what it must be like. And my wife is definitely very open-minded and was very supportive, but in private she said that she had to admit that it was a struggle. When you have a loved one that you care so much about who goes through a transition, or at least admits to the transition, you end up having to lose your perception of what you think their life is going to be and who they are. And that can be a grieving process. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think anybody who is transgender would say that there's anything wrong with that. What's wrong is to use your feelings to deny or to make light of a situation or the choices that they're making. And that's not okay. But that's not what my wife's done. Instead, she just had to process the emotions and found it a little hard, but within the next day she was already feeling a lot better and more confident about it. And she even before that had actually agreed to approach his mom with him and try and be look, this is what's happening and this is real. Because originally their mom kind of brushed it off, didn't really like accept it, thought it was like a joke or something. And I'm really proud of my wife for doing that and sticking up for somebody, and you know, having an open mind and being willing to not only accept it, but to help try and explain it to somebody who was struggling. And you know, like it sounds easy to accept, but I think it is different when it's somebody that you've grown up with and you've known and you love deeply. Like, that can be more challenging. So I'm real proud of her for that. And I'm really glad that I was able to help provide a little extra insight based on, you know, experiences that my friends have had and even this game. So again, House of Fata Morgana, it's not just entertainment. Stories aren't just entertainment. They bring life with them. Something that you can learn and grow from by providing you with thoughts and experiments and ideas that you might normally never consider or might not have a good chance to sit and think about on your own. So, kudos to the game. But now that we've gotten kind of the good fluffy stuff out of the way, let's jump in and watch this case burn to the ground. Hopefully that's not what will happen with my wife's family, but we'll see. The next day I woke with a terrible fever. I hovered in a sweltering wave of heat, unable to tell dream and reality apart, listening to a seemingly endless stream of cracking noises. I don't know what the cracking noises are, but I've had that a couple times. I can remember one in particular. I was having a lot of stomach pain from what turned out to be gallstones, and I was having incredible pain, and also I'd broken into a fever. I was having an immune reaction. And I remember laying in bed trying to sleep, because sleep was like my one escape from what was going on, because even the painkillers didn't seem to do anything. And I just remember, like, I was laying in my bed in a dark room, but I could swear that I was walking around on the floor above trying to, like, install tile flooring, which I'd done the summer before. And it felt almost real, but I could simultaneously see that I was still awake in my bedroom, and so I knew it wasn't real. But it was terrifying how real it felt. Hallucinations, when they're really intense, are freaking scary. The sounds were coming from inside my body. I thought I was falling apart. Mother was horribly worried. I'd never been the most healthy child, but I'd never fallen this ill either. I couldn't get out of bed. My voice was raspy like an old woman's. I was genuinely afraid I would wither away and die. Mother called in doctor after doctor to see me, but they all said it was the flu. Now, bodily pain was common with fever. While there was a doctor in the house, Mother was able to remain relatively calm, but once they were gone, the anxiety came back. She stayed with me day and night, even foregoing sleep. Her hands gripped mine. They held me fast. That's a good mother. Obviously, it doesn't stay good, but she obviously cares. She had her head bowed as if in prayer. Don't worry. It'll be all right, Michel. God is watching over you. He will protect you. You're his child. You're his angel sent to Earth. He will not forsake you. The doctors say it's just the flu. Though her words seemed to be directed at me, there were vacancies in her voice, as if it was just really for herself. For so long she'd wanted a daughter. I couldn't understand her fixation, but seeing her there through my clouded eyes, I wanted to apologize for ever thinking of spending time with her was agonizing. How are you feeling? Your mother's here for you. Don't worry. But the only sound that came from my mouth was a faint gasp. I drifted in and out of sleep, Mother's hand wrapped around my own. And as I had numerous dreams, in my dreams I was a man. In my dreams I was Dieter and I was Georges. In my dreams I fell in love with Amy. And in my dreams I loved her. God, it'd be so hard. You're disgusting. But with one word, the dreams twisted into nightmares. My body was torn into fleshy chunks, and I sunk into the darkness. Huh? Several days later, my fever was gone, like it'd never been there. However, what the? My voice did not recover. And when I attempted to climb from the bed, the murderous pains in my joints came rushing back. Instead of my feet, I landed on my face. Severe throat injury, possibly permanent, and swelling and inflammation of the joints. If it were chronic, I would say it would be a genetic disorder, but I'm guessing it's not chronic, so what could be lingering so long? Maybe she wasn't able to eat, he wasn't able to eat much and that is lacking calcium or something? My voice was unbelievably deep. Oh wow, really? If the voice stays that way, then I actually got the voice right from day one. Didn't even realize it. That's cool. And the pain only got worse. Every time I took a breath, I felt like someone hammering a spike into the back of my neck. I felt like my body was falling apart. Like my dreams were becoming reality. Michel! Michel! When Mother scrambled into my chambers, I remembered the time she had spent on my bedside, and a wave of relief came over me. I reached my hand out in a show of vulnerability, but she didn't take it. She couldn't take it. Mother. What's wrong with your voice, Michel? I see. You're still not feeling well, are you, Michel? A look of restrained fear on her face, Mother stepped toward me, placing her hand on my forehead. Her palm felt hot against my skin. You don't have a fever. But I hurt all over. My joints. You're still sick, Michel. But don't worry, you'll be fine in no time. Now back to bed with you. You're a girl. You're a girl, so you shouldn't be sitting on the floor. It's bad for your back. His mother repeated the phrase, "You're a girl," again and again. That nagging sense of something wasn't quite right grew more distinct. Was I really sick? Was this actually my voice now? And if it was, what was I turning into? My voice was certainly not a girl's voice. Wow. Interesting. Is this a genetic thing that's actually happening? I mean, there are cases. This is one of the cool, like, the best cases for people who, like, really try and stick to the idea that, like, there are two genders and there's no, like, no transitioning or all that's just made up. One of the best examples of that is there are cases all over the world, but specifically there's a genetic disorder prevalent in a certain community, I believe in Colombia or Venezuela, where they have this genetic defect where there are a decent amount of people who are born with every atomical sign that they are female, but when they hit puberty, they actually transition naturally into male in physical form and everything, like a full transition, like, which is crazy. It sounds mad, but it's something it's documented. And the really amazing thing is that they've done genetic tests and found that the people who were born and they thought were girls who then transitioned, like their DNA was male the whole time. So they actually have some scientists who like kind of check up on everything there occasionally, and they'll test all the young kids. And there are plenty who look biologically female but are male genetically. It just has this there's a weird delay in the developmental hormone balance that occurs, and that like makes it so, because like, and those hormones are what direct like your shape and everything. And so when that imbalance occurs, like it causes this kind of weird glitch. But it's a perfect example of how like it is not an infallible system at all, and people who think it is are really fooling themselves. So the fact or the idea that there could be somebody who has the personality and mannerisms and feelings and emotions and tendencies and even hormonal balances of a gender that doesn't match the biological sex is absolutely possible. And as soon as it becomes possible, it means that like it seems ridiculous that people can discredit that, you know? like, you can't, like if you really want to try and prove, first off, like, genetically, maybe you could, but the problem is that there's probably a lot more that goes into a person than genetics. As in, there's definitely a lot more that goes into a person, and so, like, it brings up an interesting, like, dilemma and a reason why we really should be more open-minded about all this. Not that I'm too worried about my audience. I mean, if you were super turned off by this concept, you probably would have left a while ago. But I still think it's good to bear record of it and to share my thoughts on it. My voice never went back to normal, though, as Mother ordered me to remain in my room. I hadn't recovered yet, so she is starting to crack. And so long as I was sick, I couldn't be let out. Again, something felt wrong about her calling it a sickness, but I had no evidence to the contrary. I had no way to know I wouldn't get others sick if I exposed them, as she claimed, so I had no choice but to do as she said. In time, Mother too stopped visiting me, and only people I saw were servants. Aww, what a cold echo of the Jacopo storyline. They did their jobs, but refused to look me in the eye. No one else came to see me, though. Not Amy, Dieter, Georges. When 1 month passed, then 2, then 3. Occasionally, the pain in my joints would withdraw, and other times it would worsen. Whenever I would drift off to sleep, I would hear the sound of my own joints creaking. What could that be? I would dream of a woman standing in the courtyard. Okay, joints creaking could be some type of a tendon issue. Like, they could be, like, seizing or, like, tightening, or becoming rigid. That could cause a lot of joint pain, but I think it would be having a lot of other problems, too. Her soft chestnut hair fluttering in the wind as she twirled to face me. A smile on her face and her breasts exposed. One day, after around 6 months of servants refusing to make eye contact, I stopped one and made a request. To have a mirror brought to my room. While he didn't acknowledge me, the next day I had my mirror. By that point, I was fairly certain I knew what was happening to my body. I had no clothes to wear, because none of the multicolored dresses hanging in my wardrobe fit me anymore. Pulling the heavy red cloth covering to a mirror aside, my completely naked body came into view. Huh. Something resembled a mix of a chuckle and a sigh of pity spilled from my lips. This is me. 6 months. After only 6 months' time, I could hardly recognize myself. Extending my hand for the mirror, I traced the outline of my bony reflection. My shoulders lacked Mother's curves, and my skin Amy's sheen. I was pale and haggard, but structurally, I looked like my brother's. Okay, yeah. So I wonder if this is one of those cases like I was describing, of somebody whose genetics literally just were suppressed for whatever reason. And then as they hit puberty, they manifest. I don't know if the manifestation process in reality would be as short as 6 months. I think it's a several-year process, but it's real. I wish I knew the term so I could tell you, but it's something you could look up. I remember specifically there was a documentary that did a good job talking about it. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it is anymore, but it had something. It was about like the whole documentary is about the conception to birth. I think that might have been the title, like conception to birth, talking about the processes that the human embryo goes through as it develops into a fetus and eventually into a baby, and how each stage is super critical. And then it kind of shows examples of like if there's a mistake or a glitch or a just bad luck circumstance in certain key points, the types of developmental changes that occur. And that was one of them. So it's very possible that Michel has always been a boy, like genetically, because such dramatic changes like this would be unlikely to occur otherwise. Like if the body shape has changed, that really denotes an incredible increase in testosterone production, and that usually doesn't happen until and that's exactly how it happens with that genetic disorder, where like there's almost no testosterone, which is why they develop as girls early in life, but then the testosterone comes in like 4 times harder than it normally would, and so then they slowly transition into a masculine body. Obviously, being younger than them and not as active, my muscles lacked any kind of strength, but I wouldn't have batted an eye if I saw myself holding a sword. I was a full head taller than I had been 6 months earlier. And I felt an odd certainty that I wasn't done growing either. Staring at myself in the mirror, I traced my name across the surface. Michel. Don't need the last two. Michel. That's so interesting. Woohoo. And that's the thing, it's like, maybe now Giselle can understand that it's not like he just decided he was a boy, which is very reasonable, but back then might have been really hard to accept. But his body literally changed and took on the masculine shape. I really hope she doesn't keep holding that against him, but it could be really confusing. I have to admit, I don't know, nor will I probably ever know, because I'm, in a committed relationship. But I wondered, and I don't know the answer. I've always wondered if I met somebody, fell in love with her, and then discovered that she was transgender. I don't know if that would be too much for me to handle. I don't know. I'd like to think I wouldn't, and I could be bigger than that. But I really don't know. There would be a lot of thinking that would have to be done about that. And so if that's ever a case that you face, like, bless your heart, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to handle something like that, and I don't know if I could. And if I did, I don't know what it would mean or how it would work or anything. I would like to ask, though, just because I'd love to learn more, if there is somebody who is watching who is transgender or has dated someone who is transgender, what was that experience like? Or like, what were hiccups that you ran into? If you're comfortable. If you want, you could even like post it on the Discord channel or even message me on Discord if you don't want it to be public. And again, don't feel like I really am desperate to hear these things. I just, from a learning perspective, am curious. Because I've never had the opportunity to ask somebody that before. And being anonymous online can sometimes be better than asking a friend. I just don't even have any close friends to ask, and I'd never ask somebody I only knew a little bit about. So if that's something you can do, I'd love to know. But otherwise, I'm just going to do the best I can with what I know. For the first time in my life, I liked my name. Still didn't think an angel's name suited me one bit, but it was staggering how different it felt, even if it sounded exactly the same. The last two letters changed the meaning entirely. Turned from a girl's name to a boy's name. Now this makes sense. Everything is falling into place. My admiration for Dieter, the envy I had for my brother's bodies, the feelings I had for Amy, the indecent dreams I'd been having. I was always male. Huh. He's laughing loud. I cackled like a fool for the first time in my life. I laughed so hard the side of myself my stomach hurt. It was the first glimmer of light I'd seen in this locked room for too long. This was what I was supposed to look like. My life up until 6 months ago constricted and uncomfortable. My life as a girl was all a lie. No one could possibly look at me and call me an angel. I was always a boy, but I'd been told I was a girl, forced to act like one. Of course that wouldn't feel right. Oh, that's kind of creepy, man. But okay. They needed to know. I couldn't be the only one who understood. Everyone in this house needed to do. Oh no. See, he looks really scary. You run out into your family like that, and you're gonna scare him to death. Fueled by this one desire, I wrapped a sheet over my shoulders and threw open my door. It seemed ridiculous how long I had followed Mother's instructions and remained cooped up in my room. And now I felt fantastic. If there was truly a God in heaven, then this change within me was his answer to my prayers. A manservant carrying a tray of food did a double take as I passed him. The farther I proceeded through the corridors, the more eyes fell on me. The midway sun shone obnoxiously bright through the windows. but now, with its piercing radiation illuminated by my proper self, I felt an odd affection for the light. I could hear the family gathered in the great hall, everyone but me. Dieter's voice complained about the simple meals the church provided, but his pride came through in his laughter. George's voice playfully bragged about his life at the royal court. Father's voice informed everyone his investments in brown fruit, and with the money he had purchased several new estates. Mother's voice was distinctly less bright than the rest of the family's. She gave vague, empty indications as he was listening, though mostly stayed out of the conversation. Oh boy. Amy's voice sang her praises of George's, her beloved husband. Never mind the fact that she was sleeping with Dieter. It was all a facade, a mere shadow of a family. It's a shame Michel couldn't be here. Then we would have had everyone. I was there. I was right there. I hadn't gone anywhere. You just locked me in my room. I hope she recovers soon. I was never sick at all. The child you called Michel was actually your son. That was all. It was all there was to it. This is gonna be intense. Huh? Huh? What? Everyone's gaze concentrated on me. I gave them all a quick glance, and then, with my deepened voice, I said, I am cured. I was cured 6 months ago. Antonin, who was that again? Was that the friend that, tried to, make out and do other stuff with us? Who are you? Surely you haven't forgotten my face, have you? Father? Oh, that's the father's name. Michel? Michel? This boy is Michel? A wave of chatter spread through the hall. Mother went pale. Father objected. Dieter stared. Georges gaped. Amy watched cautiously, fear in her eyes. What a farce. They were the ones who had wrongly decided I was a girl. What's going on? Someone tell me, what is the meaning of this? You were dressing your son up like a girl, Mother? I assumed he was a girl. Otherwise I wouldn't have put my hands on him like that. You lied to me. You wouldn't have never have agreed to it if I had known. No, you're wrong. Michelle is my daughter. You call that a girl? All these months I was worried because you said he was sick, but that was all a lie. You couldn't pass him off as a girl anymore, so you locked him up in his room. Is that what this is? And you could have just stayed there. What possessed you to show yourself now? Great. I thought for once there was going to be some voice of sanity, but no. Stop that. Don't look at me. Don't give me that look. You said you can tell what's going through my mind, didn't you? What? Then you should know exactly how I feel about you right now. Don't be so damn full of yourself. I have no interest in a whore like you. So why don't you go cry to Dieter's arms? Oh, Michel. Oh, Michel. You're not going to be happy with yourself after this, but I do understand why. You. What? Huh? What? What are you talking about? Why Dieter? Why not me? What? Hey, anyone want to explain that for me? What had once been a nice family meal was now under chaos. For the briefest moment I felt sorry for Georges, but that whisked away almost immediately. There was a crash on the table and dishes fell scattering across the floor. Cursed! A chilling darkness oozed from her voice. She's cursed! She was my daughter! I saw it with my own eyes! I gave birth to her! She was a girl! Michelle was a girl! A malevolent curse had been placed on her. When Mother lifted her head, I had difficulty believing that she was the same woman who had sat by my bedside as I lay sick, sacrificing sleep to care for me. Her hair was a frazzled mess, and deep creases covered her face. Restrain her! Throw her in the room and lock the door! She's a girl, she was a girl, I swear it! Open your eyes. Do I sound like a girl? Do I look anything like a girl? Mother's cries sent me into a frenzy. I ripped the sheet off my shoulders, throwing it to the floor. I am not a girl! And shouted. Restrain her! Please, someone restrain her! Fear reigned in the great hall. But then several moments of icy silence were broken by a muttering that shocked me to as much as anything else. You're not a boy or a girl. What on earth are you? You're an abomination. You're not a boy. You're an abomination. I'm... What? I see myself in the mirror. I was undoubtedly male. Lacking in strength, though there may have been, I had visible muscles. My chest was flat, I was taller than a girl should be. My voice was deep, and I had an obvious lump in the middle of my throat. I was male, I had to be male. What else could I be? So why was Amy looking at me like some kind of strange creature? A chill ran down my spine, and I suddenly found myself deeply uncomfortable with being so exposed. There's nothing there. You've got nothing there! Nothing there? I didn't understand what she was talking about. So she said he's had a manifestation of asexuality. Like, everything's just gone, apparently. Unable to press further, I fell silent, at which point several servants burst into the great hall and restrained me. She's a girl. She's my daughter. Mother, seemingly in a mad daze, just repeated the same thing over and over. She was a girl! As Mother wailed, she wandered off somewhere. Father stood there in silence. Amy stared at me with disgust in her eyes. Georges was still in a panic, and Dieter clenched his fists. Eventually, I started regaining my composure, which is when I realized I had made a mistake. My sickness had been made into a curse. I was once more caged up in my room. In addition to the door being locked from the outside, the windows were boarded over so no one could see in, leaving me in perpetual darkness. I received no visitors except servants, and again, none of them would look me in the eye. Every day was the same, day in and day out, day in and day out. The only time the routine changed was when, on occasion, a servant would arrive bearing a letter. It was my mother's handwriting on the parchment. We lived in the same house, yet she refused to show herself before me. I had no choice but to respond to her letters. She demanded I speak like a girl, and didn't have the strength to defy her. There was a constant sense of urgency to her letters, like she might fall apart completely at any second. And so I did as she had said. I signed each letter Michel, the female name she bestowed upon me at birth, which I so despised. Every time I used that name, I felt like I was denying my own identity. On paper, she expressed her concern for me, but that concern only served to cause me more pain. So every time I took up my quill, my hands trembled. Mother prayed daily that my curse might one day be broken. Am I cursed? Am I cursed? Is that why my body changed? Was it not because I was male? There's nothing there. What did she mean by that? Why did she look at me the way she did? How am I an abomination? So he obviously never had a proper sex education, which maybe that's just common. Dang though. Why? I don't understand. Someone, anyone, please tell me. Someone, please! I have brought you supper. I will be back shortly to retrieve your dishes. I'll be going then. Wait. Sorry, I clicked fast, but that's what he said. Wait. What? Wait a minute. Yes? What do you need, Michel? Are you a man or a woman? Pardon? Which are you? I am exactly what I appear to be. Which are you? I am a man. If that's all, I will be going now. Clothes off. What? Take off your clothes right now. Everything, even your underclothes. Well, surely you jest, Michel. I am very serious. I could not possibly. Why not? I could not expose myself. I ordered you to take off your clothes. You mean to humiliate me? I beg you, please reconsider. What are you? You're a servant of the Bollinger estate. And what am I? I am a child of the Bollinger family. I may be locked up, imprisoned in this room, but that doesn't make you any less my servant. Am I wrong? Clothes off. Michel! I ordered you to take your clothes off. This would be a weird one for people to overhear randomly. Not even the tiniest sliver of guilt arose in my conscience. I felt no shame in what I was doing. All that mattered to me was figuring out what Amy had meant. I wanted to find the truth. Not knowing, I would have been better off in the dark. His face twisted in humiliation. The servant undressed before me. Dim candlelight, the man's body was shaped almost like a rectangle. And at a glance, he didn't appear much different than me. A second later, though, I found my answer. I found the one crucial thing he had that I didn't. Why? My lower body lacked the part that made a man a man. Are you satisfied, Michel? It was then I finally learned what a man's body was supposed to look like. I'm begging you, please allow me to dress. I would be unbearably ashamed to remain unclothed any longer. Before the young Bollinger daughter. You still insist on calling me a damned daughter. Look at the shoulders, my chest, listen to my voice. How can you possibly think any of that belongs to a girl? But how you appeared, there was no distinct look of fear in the manservant's eyes. Not out of respect for our difference in rank, but out of disgust for this incomprehensible thing standing there before him. Those trembling eyes, and the reality dangling there before me. Great words. Blew the lid once more off everything I'd been holding back. Without that, you would be no different than me. What? Everything else is all the same. So why does it make such a difference? That you have one and I don't. Michel? I am a man. I'm a man just like you. I am not no one's daughter. Huh? And if you still insist we're not the same, then I'll make you like me. Ooh, that's a threat. Huh? Without that, you're no different than me. It was a mix of dread and panic that pushed me over the edge. And so, in order to keep myself afloat, I decided to bring another pain. Please don't do this, Michel! In a blind frenzy, hardly even aware of what I was doing, just riding the current of my erupting emotions, I swiped a knife off the tray the men had brought and knocked him down and climbed on top of him. Please don't do this! I'll get rid of it. I'll make you the same. Without it, you'll be just like me. Get off me, please! Someone help! I'll make you just like me. Get in here, someone! Anyone! Michel! She's delirious! Through the fog of hysteria, I suddenly realized I was surrounded by several servants, and the next thing I knew, I was on the floor beneath them. There were as many, if not more of them, than when I had made the scene in the great hall. A dozen manservants stared down at me, their eyes filled with fear and revulsion. And in the shadows beyond the crowd, I saw Mother looking down at me with vacant eyes. Mother, why? Why will you only speak to me through letters? Why do you say I'm cursed? Mother, I'm male. I was always male. Tell me that I am, Mother. Let me out of here, please. I am not delirious. My head is perfectly clear. I'm normal. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not cursed. Mother! Say something! Mother! Can't yell properly because of people sleeping. After that, I was shut in my room again. And even the servants stopped coming. I pushed and I shoved and I pulled and I pounded with all my strength, but the doors and windows didn't budge. A day passed, then another. With no food or water, I started fearing death was upon me. I had no idea how miserable it was to go for so long without water. My throat was dry and cracked and felt like I was on fire, making breathing difficult. Speaking of which... Sorry, Michel. 2 days, 48 hours long. Felt like I was going to lose my mind. After just 2 days, my skin stretched tight across my bones, looking hard and dry and soft in the candlelight. Water. I need water. Someone, please, give me water. Why won't anyone bring me any? Why? Ugh. My family had abandoned me and were leaving me to die in this room. When I realized that, I broke into uncontrollable shaking. The helplessness threatened to suffocate me. Fear of death turned to panic, which only scrambled my already confused mind further. I grabbed a chair, swinging it out the window, the door. But all my attempts ended in crushing failure. Anyone? I clawed at the door, begging for help. Someone, open the door. Anyone. Water. I need water. 1 drop, that's all I need. I'm gonna die in here. Someone. Anyone. Mother. Father. Dieter. Georges. Someone open the door. Please. Help me. Someone. I need water. But my throat hurts. It burns. I'm so weak. Someone. Water. Dieter. Georges. Anyone! But not a single soul came to the door. With no food or water, the 3rd day came and went, and then the 4th. By that point, I was exceedingly devoid of any sense of dignity. I sat there covered in all manner of human filth, as my body quickly wasted away. Still, I clung to the vain hope that someone would open the door. It was all I had. Occasionally, I would hear footsteps. Whenever I did, I mustered up what meager strength I had left to bang on the door. Whoever's there, please, open the door. I'm begging you. Someone. But my pleas fell on deaf ears. Though they didn't respond to me, I could hear the Abigails muttering to one another in the corridor. Did you hear that? Yes, I did. I wonder what's gotten into Lady Michel. They say she was cursed. Maybe she sold her soul to the devil. How dreadful. We should stay away from that door, if we don't want to be cursed too. I am not cursed. I did not sell my soul to the devil. I'm kinda scared. I might find work somewhere else. Gotta make sure we stay away from that door. Why? Do you think I'm cursed? I never did anything wrong. Lady Michel has lost her mind. She's deranged. I'm scared even thinking about her. I'm not deranged. My mind is perfectly fine. She's quite crazy. She's right mad. No, I'm not. I'm perfectly normal. Oh man. Someone, please get me out of here. The 5th and then 6th day passed. Fetch! He really can't even be conscious at this point. And by that point, I was hovering on death's brink. I lacked even the willpower to hold myself up against the door. So I simply lay on the cold floor, waiting for the end. Felt no sorrow, no anger, nor despair. Nothing. I had been stuck completely dry. I couldn't even compose a coherent thought. Which is why when the door I had yearned to open actually did, and someone stepped inside standing over me, I was unable to process it. My God, what a mess. Hey, are you still alive? Look at that. I was afraid you'd be dead. It was Amy's voice. Really? Wow. I'm sorry, really. I didn't mean you much harm, but after what you said in front of the whole family, I was a little upset. I couldn't tell what she was saying. All I could hear was garbled sounds. But she's so cruel, you hear that? She's like, I didn't mean to hurt you that bad. She's like, but she wanted to hurt us. And all I could do was moan at her. The servants are all afraid of you now, after your little episode. So I volunteered to bring you food in their place. Everyone was so grateful. I don't think anyone likes you anymore. So she just wasn't bringing it. Eventually my muddy mind managed to make sense of the thing she was holding in her hands. A tray of food. I could smell it from her. At first, I just gave your food to a stray cat. I wish you could have seen it devour every last bit. Water. What I didn't know, though, is that people can die in just a few days without water. I never intended to kill you. I just didn't know. So I'm really sorry about that. Water. But you're alive. For someone else so physically weak, you sure are tenacious. Isn't that nice? You have one thing you can be proud of. Wait a second. Is she the maid from the Jacopo story? She certainly is evil enough. Yeah. Like, look at this. Like, listen to what she's saying and look at that face. She's like the epitome of evil. Wow. Like, wow. She might be one of the scariest characters in this entire thing. And I think that she's got the Beast beat. The Beast was mad. Like, he was literally out of his mind. She's not. She's not. Oh, fetch. Water. What was that? Water? You want water? Hold on, I've got some right here. She picked up a goblet with her dainty fingers. Delicate fingers. My hand swiped weakly at the air, trying to grab it. A grin spread across her lips. Oh my gosh. And then she let go. Go on, drink. You'd better hurry, or the rug will absorb it all. You wanted water, didn't you? Then drink. In that moment, I could hear the sound of the last of my dignity crumbling away. Driven solely by my survival instinct, I bent down toward the rug, pressing my lips against the spreading puddle. You actually did it. You really did it. This is too good, Michel. You look like a cat. No, cats are much more graceful. I can't stop laughing. The daughter of a prestigious family, the Bollingers, sucking water out of the carpet. Ah, I wish I had a painter here to capture the image on a canvas. Or is she the one stuck in the painting? So you know, I accept that I made a mistake, Michel. I promise I'll bring you food from now on. I'll take very good care of you. This is going to be fun. Listening to her childish, yet deeply malicious laughter, I understood. I was her plaything now. My hell was only just beginning. Oh my gosh. Having gotten food and water, my body recovered somewhat. But I was hardly in peak condition. That would take some time, given how badly malnourished I had been. Amy continued to treat me like her pet, constantly stoking the flame of rage within me. But I was too weak to stay on my feet for long, and talking hurt my throat. I assume it was a calculated effort on her part to maintain power over me, to keep me as miserable as possible. She always had a smirk on her face as she gazed down on me. Evil. The epitome of evil. Like, she could put the witch through her paces. At least the witch had a reason for what she did. She's flipping crazy and really needs to stop. But I honestly think the witch is a better person than Amy is. Holy crap. Come on, open up. Today I'm gonna feed you myself. Was it gonna be turds? What's the matter? I can't put anything in your mouth with your mouth closed. Or do you want to starve to death? Amy, why are you doing this? Why? Because it's fun. Why else? You married into this family, you sick wench. What gives you the idea you can treat me? Are you saying that because I'm married in, I'm of lesser stature than you? That's true, I am. But what's your point? You think you can intimidate me with formalities? Amy. Ew, I would rather you not speak my name, if you wouldn't mind. That doesn't excuse your treatment of me. Someone, Dieter or Georges, will make you pay for this. You don't have a single friend here, Michel. No one to take your side, and no one to say a thing about me playing with you. Assuming you were somehow able to tell someone, no one would believe you. That's a lie. Do you have any idea what people say about you? They say you've gone mad. That you've sold your soul to the devil. Do you honestly believe anyone would trust you? I am not mad. I don't know. You look pretty mad to me. Ugh. Fine, then I'll run away. I'll escape from this estate and from you. You think you could survive in the world with that body? A stray cat could lift more than you. You'd never find work. I'd give you a week at best. You cannot be so sure of that. Maybe I could make it on my own. Maybe, but either way, there's no way you're getting out. You try to run, someone might just cut off your legs. Fetch, man. Fetch. How is that at all necessary? Don't ask me. Maybe because your curse hasn't broken? You know, you're lucky you're even allowed to live. Oh. And you should be grateful for me for volunteering to take care of you. Nobody else wanted to have anything to do with you. So if you want to keep living, you'll have to show me some respect. And you have to do everything I tell you. Understood? So this is the real you. You were just pretending to be respectable. When in reality, not only are you sleeping with Dieter, you're a downright vile woman. You've been putting on an act ever since you got here. Oh, you make it sound like I'm somehow worse than anyone else. I'm quite normal, thank you. How is this normal? Listen to me, Michel. The side of me you see right now isn't necessarily the whole thing. The sweet girl I am for my family is also me. And when I held you in my arms, that too was me. I'm not putting on an act. Liar. Although to tell you the truth, I never actually liked you, so that part was a lie, yes. If Mother hadn't asked, I never would have even considered getting friendly with you. Amy. You know, life as a noble woman is so dull. It's so restrictive. No room for love at all. So can you really blame me? There so happened to be the most wonderful night right there for the taking. Why shouldn't I have gone after him? I'm still young. Let me have some fun, you know? Not like women have much else in the way of recreation. So it wasn't Dieter, but you who seduced him. And it would all have worked out beautifully too, if you'd kept your mouth shut. You ruined our family gatherings and damaged my reputation. And you called me a whore. That wasn't very nice now, was it? Is it any surprise that I'm a little sore? You brought this on yourself, Michel. I brought this on myself? Don't you dare. Nothing justifies what you're doing to me. I'm not the disturbed one. You're the crazy whore, and don't try to pretend otherwise, damn you. Oh my, such language. You're not being very nice to me, Michel. Girls aren't supposed to talk like that, you know? I am not a girl. I clicked, curse you hand. Then what are you? I'm a man. A man? With that body? Amy quietly rose. Ugh. Grabbed me by the hair and shoved me to the floor. Let go of me. You call yourself a man? You can't even get out of a girl's grip. Ugh. I'm not all that strong either. In fact, I'd say I'm rather weak. Just a small, powerless girl. If you were a man, you'd have no problem breaking free, malnourished or otherwise. But you can't. That's not true. Malnourished enough, no one could fight anybody else. Get. She traced the lines of my emaciated ribs with her nails, traveling slowly, slowly down my chest. But even ignoring that, you're missing the most important part. Stop. Get off me. I tried to shove her aside with all my strength I could squeeze out of my arms. But as Amy had said, I couldn't even overpower a girl. All I could do was lie there beneath her and beg. Get off me. Groaning in anger and frustration. Her fingers came to a stop just above my navel. She looked up at me with a sweet smile, and then pulled her hand away. And just like as a wave of release spread through me, she shoved me back, jumped up, and slammed her foot between my legs. Oh, fetch! Ugh! I shuddered as the pain jolted up my spine. Amy looked down at me as I screamed. A smirk spread across her face. Oh my, does that hurt? There's a surprise. Even without boys' parts, it still hurts. Stop, please. So remember that genetic thing I was talking about with the delayed development? Like, maybe his development isn't fully manifest, but there are going to be parts in there of some kind or another. Guys, girls, even if it's partially one or the other, it's of course going to hurt terribly. Fetch, man. And she didn't stop stepping on me. I'm begging you, stop, please. She dug her toes into my flesh. What are you exactly, Michel? From the feel of it, you don't quite have proper girl parts either. Amy, please. On top of the physical pain, unbearable humiliation and shame corroded away at my spirit. What a strange creature you are. Stop! If I could have died right there and then, honestly, that would have been preferable to the emotional hell she was putting me through. You should take a look at yourself in the mirror, Michel. You're crying. Sobbing like a sad little girl. Not much of a boy, are you? And you lusted after me with this body? Seriously. You're disgusting. I can't believe you actually had the gall to fall for me. I need to scrub out my eyes to hopefully get to my brain. Amy's abuse was not a one-time occurrence. As she promised, she came to feed me every day. But her arrival brought nothing but anguish and torture. Every day she chipped away more at my spirit. But I hadn't succumbed to her yet. My anger still overpowered any fear I felt. Fetch. About a week after Amy started caring for me, Have you been a good girl, Michel? I brought you your supper. I'll set it right here for you. What's the matter, Michel? Your food's right there. It's gonna get cold. Go on, eat. But no using your hands. Crawl over and use your mouth. Come on, eat. Or would you rather I fed you? Ew. What was that? Do you have something to say? I'll give. I can't understand a word you're saying, Michel. If you would eat, then you have enough strength to talk. Oh, you. Huh? I'm going to kill you, Amy! That was, I believe, the first time in my life I'd felt a sincere, overpowering desire to end someone's life. I wanted to see her dead. With my hands and legs tied up, I lurched for her. And like the dog she so wanted me to be, I chomped down on her wrist. The taste of someone else's blood was far more unpleasant than I'd expected. Felt like I was going to vomit. But I was determined not to let go of her wrist for any reason. I would gnaw through the bone and rip her entire hand off. She could beat me unconscious and I still wouldn't let go. She would have to kill me or get me off of her. I wanted her to feel the same pain I felt when she trampled on me. Let go! My body never did what I wanted it to, though. I could swear on my life I wouldn't release her arm, but I could never seem to make good on my determination. Amy's foot flew into my emaciated gut. The pointed tip of her shoe dug into my flesh like a knife, and I collapsed to the floor in a fit of convulsions. And just as I was about to cough up a mouthful of stomach acid, she rammed her foot into my abdomen a second time. She didn't even give me enough time to get to my feet, let alone fight back before she kicked me again. I hate her so much. Again and again and again and again. Stop. My gut, my chest, my legs, my face. What's wrong with you? Don't you get it? You're not the one in control here. You should be thanking me. What you did to me that day was incredibly hurtful. Yet here I am bringing you your food. Can you not see how kind-hearted I am? As she's beating his ribs in. So why would you go and bite me? Why would you possess you to do such a thing? Gasping for breath, my consciousness slipped away from me. I caught a glimpse of Amy's eyes as she swung her legs back and forth for another kick. And when I did, a single word rose to my mind. Demon. Isn't it something? You can't even stand up to a girl. I'm not that strong. I'm weak and frail. This is the first time I've ever kicked someone. I have absolute control over you, Michel. You understand that now, right? You've learned your lesson, didn't you? Not an ounce of strength remained within me. My tongue and cheeks were torn up, my mouth tasted of blood. Thinking herself weak and having no experience of the ways of physical violence, she knew no restraint. The ignorance can be so much more brutal and viciously relentless than the seasoned. My vision had gone red and I could hardly feel my own face. There was a strange gurgling sound with every breath I took. Ah, jeez, what am I going to do about this hand? It hurts like crazy. Oh, I know. I'll tell everyone you finally lost it and tried to bite my hand off. They'll all feel so bad for me. I can just see the sad looks on Dieter and George's faces. They will not. You know, your brothers. They've completely given up on you. A deranged sister. There's nothing but trouble. You know where you are, Michel? You're a demon child. Why was I the demon and not her? Why did no one come to my aid? Several times I considered ending my life. I am absolutely 100% against that, but can you blame him? But every time I did, memories of better days came back to me. Of the time before my body had transformed. The days when we were all so sure of our happiness. Kept me chained to life. Why couldn't things still be the way they had been then? In my heart, I hadn't changed at all. So how had things ended up like this? Ooh, this could change things. I'm gonna go a little longer. It's gonna be a long episode. Michel! Oh, Michel! Are you in there? Did you need something, Georges? Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Do I have to need something to talk to you? No, but you did look like you were in unusually good mood, so I thought... Well, why wouldn't I be? It's a wonderful gloomy day out. I would understand if it were clear out, but can you really say it was wonderfully gloomy? Well, you can't be outside very long when it's not cloudy, so in this case, it's the perfect weather. Aw, he's like nice. Huh. What do you say we go for a little stroll while we can? Dee's around today too, so we can go see if he's up for it. It'll be like old times. We've been running around like headless chickens lately, so we haven't had much of a chance for sibling outing. We'll have Mom make us lunch and then... Ooh, we'll take a couple horses up to the forest edge. I'm fine with that if you are. You bet your bum I am. I asked, after all. Now come on, let's go. An outing, you say? Yep. Hop on the horses and head for the forest. We haven't done it in a while, so I figured why not. I see. Well, if Michel's coming, I see no reason to say no. Let's set off right away. Whoa, slow down there. Are you saying you wouldn't go if it was just me? It's Michel or nothing? Of course. Why on earth would I want to go horse riding alone with you? I would rather drown myself. Oh, did you say le gasp? Le gasp. Dieter, could I perhaps make a small request? Go on, let's hear it. Do you mind if I hold the horse's reins? Oh, that's all, by all means. I'll be there behind you to make sure nothing happens, so have at it. But do be warned, my horse is a bit temperamental. If you're not gentle, he'll start getting moody with you. I doubt that'll be a problem for you though, Michel. I'll be careful. Hey, whoa, slow down, guys. Look at that, Michel. George is still fumbling around all the way back there. Are we going to go a bit too fast? No, you're fine. That you were able to get past that so quickly is proof of your talent. Ah, finally caught up. This isn't a race, you know? Why can't we enjoy the scenery, indulge in some nice pathos? A warrior and his horse need not of pathos. Isn't that right, Michel? It certainly is, Dieter. Come on, you guys, be nice. That was my idea. You've really taken after old D, haven't you, Michel? I, for one, would rather see you admiring flowers or dancing with butterflies or gazing at beautiful sunsets or enjoying poetry. More pathos, my dear sister, and less barbarism. Long swords, suits of armor, and tales of heroic knights are so much more appealing, though. You've let him get his claws too deep, Michel. Oh dear, oh my, I'm gonna have to two meathead siblings before I know it. What did you just call me? Now you two. Why don't we just stop here for a picnic? Seconded! My stomach's been rumbling up a storm. I took a few bites earlier because I was about to die back there. I hope your horse throws you in a river. Aw, look at them. Hey, so the other day I brought a cat home. A cat? Yep, speckled from head to tail and ugly as a witch's arse. I was gonna keep it in my room, but Mom flipped when she saw it. Keep the filthy thing out of my house. Wish there was something we could do about how much of a clean freak she is. Wait, what was that? Who said that? Oh, that was Georgia. Sorry, I read that in the wrong voice. Georges, try not to stress Mother too much. You're unpredictable enough as it is. It would be nice, though, to have a cat, I mean. You think so? Then how about this? We'll keep it in the courtyard. And I'll feed it on the days when it's clear, and you can do it when it's cloudy, Michel. I don't know what cats eat, though. I bet he'd like pastries. No, that was theater again. I keep reading Georges wrong. I bet he'd like pastries. Do you want to kill the cursed thing? Cannot approve anyone taking care of an animal who thinks that's a good idea. Sorry. Pull the stick out of your Austin. Life's about experimentation. Live and learn. Don't experiment on animals. Well, if you're gonna be like that, how about you help out too? You can keep an eye on us and make sure we don't do anything stupid. What? Now you're trying to drag me into this. Already done. You're in. It's settled. Dang it, Dieter. Dang it, Georges. Now we need to come up with a name. Have any ideas, Michel? What? You want me to name it? Not very often you get to name a living thing and give a living thing a name. Well, I guess you might if you have a few more chances down the road. Considering this practice. Consider this practice. I read it back because I said it wrong, sorry. Something elegant and beautiful. You got this. Now, Georges, don't put so much pressure on her. You have a point, though. It is a good opportunity. Don't stress too much about it, Michel. Just choose something you like. You say this cat was speckled and ugly? Yep. One look, you'll be laughing so hard you can't breathe. Alright then. Ugly Speckles. That's cute. That's its name? It would seem you don't have a future in the arts, Michel. But you said it was ugly and speckled, Georges. I did, yes. You could have tried a little harder than that, though. But you know, why not? Ugly Speckles it is. Haha. It's actually kind of charming when you say it out loud. Ugly Speckles. It's not that funny. It is something, indeed. The more I think about it, the more I... Not you too, Dieter. We should bring Ugly Speckles on our next outing. Sitting together beneath the clouds having lunch. That we should. When Michel's gotten a little bigger, let's do this again. The three of us and our ugly speckled cat. You said it. We're all good friends here after all. I'll never be your friend, though. God, you must always... Why you must be such a jerk? Aw, good memories. I think we're gonna stop here, though. Let's end it on kind of a high note before we dip back into the despair. So I'm surprised. This went deep and dark quickly and horrifically. Like I said, Amy is probably the most evil character in this freaking game. I think she surpasses the witch. Could you imagine if Amy had been given the abilities of the witch? Like, she wouldn't be targeting specific people. She'd be targeting everybody. She'd be a demon. Holy crap, she would be. And poor Michel. My gosh. Like, what a nightmare. Literally nightmare. Never-ending nightmare. Somehow he gets out of this, but how? Fetch. So tough. So terrible. It hurts my soul. It really, like, I can already tell I'm going to be thinking about this all week now. It's a story, but man, it's so real and so terrible. Because like, you could totally see it actually happening. And that's what's terrifying about this all. Fetch. Breathe. Breathe. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me for this horror train. I bet you this is demonetized. If it's not, I almost think it should be. But it doesn't show anything. Just implies a lot. So, Hope you have firm stomachs, because mine was flipping. Well, we'll have to see how this goes. Oh, excuse me, getting tired. Oh. But thank you guys so much for being here today. Thanks so much for joining me on the channel. As always, it's a pleasure having you here. It's a pleasure just being able to do this kind of stuff with you and to kind of let you be a part of it with me. I hope you leave some interesting comments below. Like, what do you think about the characters? Do you agree with me that Amy's the worst? Is there worse to come that you can't spoil? Or did you think somebody else was even more evil? I'm curious to know your thoughts on that and any other insights you have. So I look forward to reading the comments on this one. And until the next video, watching me or to see me next. I'll see you there.